exhausted. So épuisé, épuisé is the verb to exhaust, okay? I was exhausted, j'étais épuisé. I was exhausted. I was exhausting as a verb would be j'épuisais, obviously, but that would be I was exhausting someone else. So it's just a little bit of mindfulness to make sure that we don't use be where we don't need to use be, okay? Next thing to remember with the be problems that I see. Expressions that use have, not be. I am hungry, je suis... No, that's what always happens. They then get to that point and the panic sets in. J'ai faim, I was hungry, j'avais faim. Stick to the same verb. It's about having hunger in French. I am, let's say 33, because everything looked okay at 33 and it just went a bit sort of down south after that. I'm 40 in February, so let's say I'm 33. J'ai 33 ans. I was 33. J'avais 33 ans. There's no need to use be. So when I was 30, quand j'ai, people always pause. Quand j'avais, not quand j'étais, okay? It's be with age, okay? So all of your expressions, okay? I'm ashamed. J'ai honte. I have shame, for example. Loads of these expressions. I'm hungry. J'ai faim. I'm hot. I'm cold. J'ai chaud. J'ai froid. Okay, all of these expressions use have, not be. So that's another area. Okay, another be cleanup. Little be cleanup. If you're writing, and this is where all the people that turned off this video because they go, oh, got you, Luke. I know all of that. I know all of that. But they messed this last one up. So I wish I'd have done this earlier. If you are using be as in a sentence, it's a generally good idea to check whether or not you then need an E or an S, or an E and an S on the end of your next word, or the words that are coming up. And here's why. If you are using the verb to be and then you have an adjective, obviously that adjective could agree. So I am tired, je suis fatigué. If I were a woman, I am tired, je suis fatigué. You then need an E. Why? Because you are tired as an adjective needs to agree. Yeah? So I am happy, je suis content, je suis heureux. If I were a woman, or let's say she was happy, she is happy, elle est heureuse, elle est contente. You're going to need the E there. They are happy, ils sont, verb to be, ils sont contents, I need an S on the end. Pardon me. They are happy, elles sont contentes, E and an S. So it's generally a good idea when you see the verb to be in a sentence, in whichever tense, to scan across. Yeah, and look for whether or not we need an E and an S. Now, the same thing goes for when the verb to be is your reflexive verb or your verb of motion verb. Let's look why. So, I went, je suis allé. If I were a lady, that needs an extra E. Je suis allé with an E, then another E. It's like an adjective. Okay? And the reason for this is, firstly, you can just learn that if you are feminine or plural and you're using be as an être verb, yeah, as in one of the movement verbs, just do this. The second reason is if you want to understand it, it's because of the nature of the verb. If I said to you, I spoke, let's say I made the cake. J'ai fait le gâteau. Now stop after the third word. J'ai fait. I don't know. I don't know what I've made. So there's no agreement on I've made. Those of you that have already done this with me, if you said the cake that I made, and it was, let's say, la tarte, so a feminine cake, la tarte que j'ai faite, that would be feminine because by the time you got to your third word, your past word, you knew or what had been dealt with had already come. So for example, if you say I ate, j'ai mangé, or I decided, j'ai décidé, you don't need to make that agree because you're eating or deciding something else. If you say I went, je suis allé, the thing that went is you. So that needs to agree, like an adjective. That needs to have an E or an extra S on the end, okay? So equally then, and this is what most of you forget, a lot of you remember je suis allé, or you remember it with je, but you don't remember it with il or elle, okay? So he came, il est venu, V-E-N-U. She came, elle est venue, V-E-N-U-E, okay? Next thing then, she... All of those extra verbs are fine. If you then use the reflexive verbs or reciprocal verbs, okay, it depends if they're actively using something else. So it's like, if you said, it all comes down to, imagine you were saying the sentence, would you use le, la, or would you use lui and leur? So for example, If you said, I wash him, je le lave. That's direct. You are washing him, because washing is direct to somebody. So if you said, we got washed, nous nous sommes lavés, we are the thing that's being washed. So by the time you've said your past word, laver, we know what's being washed. So again, you would need to add an E if we were feminine, we were all women, and we definitely need to add an S because we are plural if we're using the word nous. So if I said I got washed, je me suis lavé, if I were a lady, I definitely need L-A-V-E with the acute and then another E. Okay? We got ready. You guys got ready. Vous vous êtes préparés. You're definitely going to need an extra S after that because the thing that was prepared was you guys. Okay? It's direct. If you know, it's I prepare you. I prepare him. Check it with him. Je le prépare. It's not je lui prépare. It's direct. Okay? So if you said you guys got ready, vous vous êtes préparés, you're going to definitely have an S. Yeah, definitely have an S, and you might have an E if you're all women. Okay? So you might be going at this stage, okay, right, so Luke's told me that when we use être as the auxiliary, I need an extra E and an S on the end, if I'm feminine or plural. Wrong. Sorry, and if I'm using movement verbs, or if I'm using any system that has être in the past or the auxiliary, so that would include the reflexives. Wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Luke is not saying that that is the... check me out using the third person for myself. Luke, I am not saying that that is the case. For example, if you say I speak to him, je lui parle. That is not direct. Yeah, he is not the thing being spoken. Yeah, I'm speaking language, I'm speaking the sentence, I'm speaking French to him. So if you said we spoke to each other, nous nous sommes parlé, that is not going to have an extra E if necessary or an S because it is not direct. Okay? So that is a nice little trick that you can use. Okay? I showed him my work. Je lui ai montré mon travail. We showed each other our work. Nous nous sommes montrés notre travail. Because of that, the thing that's being shown in that sentence is the work. Okay? We might be using the reflexive system, the reciprocal system, but the fact is it's not direct. Yeah? I show him, je lui montre. Okay? The work. So if you wrote we showed each other, nous nous sommes montré, M-O-N-T-R-E with an acute. The only possible way in French you could have it with the E or on the S is if it's kind of like we were showing each other to other people. Like I showed him to my parents, he showed me to his parents, but it's just weird. Okay? So in roundup, if you're using the verb to be as with an adjective after it, be checking for E or S. If you're using the verb to be in the middle of your être verb sentence, check for an E or an S. If you're using the verb to be in the middle of your reflexive sentence in the past or in the verb with an auxiliary, so je me suis lavé, je m'étais lavé, je me serais lavé, or je me serais lavé, we're only talking about when there's a past word, aren't we? We're not saying like je me lave, present tense. Then you need to check for the E and the S, but not every time. That is my point. Okay? My final thing on this big verb to be clear up. Okay? No, two final things. The verb to be is être, être. Okay? And it's got an accent on that E, but was is été with an acute. Yeah? E acute, bottom left, top right. Please don't mess that up. Okay? Final thing. I'm good at saying final things and then I remember extra things. But think of all this free education you're having, okay? So, don't forget I do private tuition. The fact is, if you said what happens in people's mouths is that people try and finish their own sentences, which is great. It means that you'll get feeling confident, you're feeling like speaking. It's endlessly better than people who don't want to speak to me, who just start the lessons and they want to sort of do everything, hidden. It's great. Speak. Make sound. It's what we're here for. Okay? Use writing to record what your brain says and thinks. Okay? We don't learn from writing. But I get this all the time. Je me suis allé. je me suis arrivé. Because your mouth has gotten very comfortable. Thank you, Luke. Well done. I've learned to do the reflexive in the past. And you say je suis allé, yeah? And then you go off and you say I got ready. Je me suis préparé, or je me suis, what did I say? Je me suis, what can I do to myself? Je me suis rasé. Je me suis lavé. Je me suis levé. So you get in your mouth, je me suis. So that then, for the next 3-4 weeks, when you try and just use a normal je suis allé, je suis parti, je suis monté, je suis mort, hopefully not that one, touch wood, je suis parti, you will be using je me suis, okay? It's vile, okay? It's wrong. It's like an inflammation of the reflexive. Be careful. It's exactly the same thing that happens when people learn to stick de after certain verbs. So, j'essaie de, je continue à, for example, je décide de, je commence à. They then stick de and à everywhere. Yeah, je veux à parler, or je veux te parler, I want to speak. No, 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 no. Okay, so it's good though, it's a good sign, and I shouldn't be mocking it. It's very arrogant of me to mock it, because it's not. It shows that you're starting to allow these new patterns into your mouth, and so it is a good sign. But be careful. Not je me suis allé. No, je suis allé, because it's a normal verb. It's an être verb, which always takes être. And je suis parti, for example. And je me suis lavé, je me suis rasé, je me suis préparé, je me suis levé, je me suis whatever. Okay, any of the reflexive verbs. Okay, so I hope all these être problems have come into being and helped you. There's a higher level series of être problems which often crop up. Things like, you know, c'est bizarre que je me sois lavé, when you have to use the verb to be in the subjunctive with être and all that kind of stuff. So if you find yourself having even more complex être problems, do please let me know. I just wanted to clean up your mind mapping, your thinking of where different things go, okay? And my final thing, which is my motivation for this week, my real theme for this week with everybody I've been working with, say the correct thing out loud. Even when you're following my videos, say the correct thing out loud.